now we're good. Sorry, Keith, I forgot to turn on the live stream when I came down from taking decorations down. You only missed the prayer. We haven't really started yet, so. All right. Oop. Hold on. All right. There we go. All right. So Ezekiel chapter 35. What did you guys think reading this chapter?
Well, I don't think you want to make fun of Israel in front of the good Lord.
No. All right, so let's just start with that first question. What do you already know about Mount Seir / Edom and its relationship with Israel? So when he's talking in chapter 35 about Mount Seir, he's also talking about Edom. So what do you remember about the relationship that the Israelites have at this point with the Edomites? I think is what we call them.
Hatred and enmity.
Okay. Where did it all start?
With Jacob and
Yes, Jacob and Esau, all the way back in Genesis. They were wrestling inside their mother's womb. And so you have Jacob and Esau. And what does Jacob do to Esau? Yeah, he steals his birthright, and that kind of sets it all off in motion. And so that bitterness continues in Genesis. You get to Exodus. You have the exodus of the Israelites. They're making their way to the promised land. They get near the land of Edom, and what do the Edomites tell the Israelites? It's okay if you don't know. This one you kind of have to dig into Numbers to find. Basically, when they get towards the edge of, yeah, you have to go around. You have to take the detour, and so you have to go around, and so that just adds fuel to the fire. And so there is a very long relationship with the Israelites in in Edom, and it continues with David. It continues with the kings. If you were here on the weekend after Christmas, Pastor Blonsky preached about King Herod being from the kingdom of Edom. I did not know that till I came to that service. So I was like, so. But yeah, they have a very long relationship that they don't like each other. So, any questions about the relationship with Israel at this time?
Why is it that they don't like each other? Just because of that?
Because of Jacob and Esau. Mm-hmm.
Was there prophecy to that? That one will bow to the other or something?
That's Joseph. He tells his brothers.
Oh, yeah. But I don't know. I mean, it seems a little...
I mean, I think it wear off it a while, but apparently those family feuds can be really passed by word of mouth.
Think of Hillbilly?
Think of the Hatfields and the McCoys.
But isn't it still going on now? Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right. I don't want to move too quick, so I want everyone to so. I had to read Hummel on about Edom because I didn't even know where Mount Seir was. I was like, where is this place? So it is a mountain range that is in the kingdom of Edom. All right. So looking at our text here, we're going to look down at verse 5. It says, verse 5 speaks of Edom's perpetual enmity. What does that phrase suggest about the long memory of sin between peoples?
Ancestral.
Uh-huh. Think of where else do we hear that word enmity? Yeah, we hear it in the fall when God is cursing the serpent. So our memory of sin between peoples is long. There's that phrase, forgive and forget. I don't think I know the Edomites didn't practice that. What else does it suggest about the memory of sin between peoples?
Weren't forgiving each other.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And they're willing to escalate.
Mm-hmm. It was kind of a tit for tat kind of thing with the Israelites and the Edomites.
They took advantage of the Israelites' calamities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you think about it nowadays, how our society is. We have a tendency to hold on to memories of sins that other people have done, especially the ones that are very personal to us.
What about the people who don't let go of those?
So you can say more, or
Die.
they die. You want to say more before I'm trying to get where you're.
Specific.
Yeah, that word. I can't say that word. So are you saying they have a?
They took it to their grave. They took that without forgiving the others.
So you're asking? So you-
So, are they safe?
They use your pencil. Oh, here. I'm good.
all right. So so a person commits a sin against you, and you hold on to it, and you just grind on it for however long, and then you die if you are saved.
We don't know.
Well, isn't that part of communion? You're not supposed to take communion if you're coming up with hatred?
Yeah, if you have a disagreement, yeah, that's one of the things. I don't know. I'm like, that's why I'm kind of like,
That's something I don't think God has to read their heart. Are they really repentant?
Yeah.
Do they really believe? You know, they could up until the day they die. And they could think, well, they should be kept.
I mean, but I tell people, I tell myself, hey, you can't hang on to this. You have to let this go. You have to forgive them, regardless of how you feel right now at this moment. You know, your time. Forgive them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we forgive them, but do we forget about what
Don't
they've
forget
done?
it, there's still a scar.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I see it. We don't have to forget about it, but it's past. I know some.
It's like. All right, let's keep going here with the text. So, in the opening verses, we see a lot of images of desolation and destruction. So, what images of desolation appear in the opening verses, and how do they compare to other judgment passages in Ezekiel?
I got more glory. There's going to be people slain all over the mountains and valleys, and bodies all over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like bloodshed.
Yeah, I found it. He got very particular about the calamity. It wasn't very, because we read in other chapters where it was kind of vague what was going to happen. Here he said, "This is what I'm going to do. This is what's going to happen to the people. This is the picture of the destruction, the bloodshed on the mountain, and the bodies upon bodies, and all of that different stuff. That's the kind of calamity I'm going to bring on upon Edom." What else can we say about those opening verses of desolation and destruction? Thinking of all of the judgment that we read about in Ezekiel from all the different nations, when God talked about, I'm going to do this to the Moabites, and what do we see here that we didn't see in those other judgments?
Perpetual isolation, cut off, all who come and go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he uses the word blood a lot, and bloodshed in chapter 35. Because we have to remember what the Edomites are doing that has angered the Lord, besides what they've done to Israel, what they are doing themselves for their worship.
Human sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. And we discussed that in, was it 6, 7? Somewhere in there we talked about the human sacrificing that was going on in the mountains, and that's why God curses the mountains earlier in Ezekiel. But you see, in earlier Ezekiel, he just cursed the mountains. Here he curses them, but he gives us this imagery of this is exactly what's going to happen to the people of Edom. All right. Any questions about that? I don't want to hang around. I don't want to dwell on the judgment and the destruction. That's just part of the book.
Was Edom more or less destroyed at this time where they never came back? Is that the reference?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who destroys them. It's not the Babylonians. I want to say it was Alexander when he came in, because he's the next big power to come on the scene after the Babylonians. I don't think the Persians got that far. I'd have to look. But yeah, they were wiped out very soon after. It was after the exile that Edom would fall. All right. So how does Edom's behavior during Israel's vulnerability reveal the difference between opportunism and neighborliness? Sorry, I can't read this morning. So what does that reveal when they talk about what they're going to do to what has happened to Israel? How does the Edom respond?
Took advantage of Israel's frailty, their lack of power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the difference between opportunism and neighborliness. Yeah, I can say it.
I like that word. Yes.
So yeah, they took it. Jerusalem falls by the Babylonians, and instead of helping out their neighbors, being serving their neighbor, the Edomites are like, "Ooh, look at that land. There's no one living there. Let's go take that." And so they are taking the opportunity. What would it look like if they were neighborly towards Israel when all this is going on? Yeah, that would come later. Yeah. Hummel brought up the idea that people were fleeing from Jerusalem before the siege, before they were cut off, and they probably ran to Edom, and Edom's like, no, you can't be here. Go, like they didn't accept the, yeah, there you go. I couldn't think of the word. Thank you, Dan. I was like, I'm like, what is it? Not prisoner, but yeah, they're refugees.
But Pastor, I give them some, not that it's right, but come 2,000 years, modern day, look at all the countries too who might say, we have enough, we're not going to accept them. I mean, that's ongoing, so I can't say, yeah, they were totally wrong. I should say they might have been wrong, but it's not like people learn lessons 2,000 years, whether it's specifically Eastern Europe, United States, so others that, they want to vet people, which I'm not thinking is such a bad thing, but, I'm looking back now 2,000 years and, a lot hasn't changed, but that's, our borders with countries, whether you're an ally one decade and a foe the next decade, things change with borders and so on. But yeah, I guess to let everybody in, that would be, but as John Lennon said, what would the world be like with no countries or such and such? Well, anyway, I'm just sticking to modern. I always kind of go from there to modern day, try to realize what's going on, but that's just my spin.
Yeah, so if you look at your questions, there's actually a couple questions that go to that when we get to the application part. I got these from a classmate of mine who's doing Ezekiel. He's at 41, 42, somewhere. He started the temple with his congregation. And so like I said, we will call each other during the week, and he'll kind of share his thing on the text, and I'll share mine. And then I'll borrow some of his application questions because he is gifted in that way of taking the text from Ezekiel and applying it to today. So, what else can we say about the Edom's behavior towards Israel?
Well, according to the quote, they're given us to devour. They're given to us. They're given to us. Let's take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they see them as, we can just take them out. They're knocked down by the Babylonians. We'll just kick them while they're down, kind of a mentality that the Edomites have. And so that's going to lead us to question 5. This is what Edom is thinking they're going to do after Jerusalem has fallen. So what actions does God promise to take against Mount Seir or Edom? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's going to destroy them. Isolation, there's going to be bloodshed. There's all these different imageries that we get from Ezekiel. Mm-hmm. What do you,
Well, I don't think Petra and Tina, the 2 cities, I don't think they exist.
the who?
Well,
The 2 cities of Edom, Petra and Tina, I think it is.
They might be renamed. I don't know offhand.
what's on it touches the goal.
Yeah, because Edom is in that area of Jordan, where Jordan is now. That was the kingdom of Edom back in the time of Ezekiel.
After looking at back to today. So isolationism, yeah, I guess a bad thing, but look at modern day today. North Korea, Cuba, some of these countries want to be isolated. They choose that. Whether God putting it on them was bad, and then I look modern day, some countries choose to live that way. So it's like, well, was that a bad penalty? Because you look back 2,000 years with the general in North Korea and Cuba and some other countries, they want to live that way. They kind of choose that anyway. But they are godless countries. My opinion on that too is that they are godless countries. So anyway.
You figure in the time of Ezekiel, if you're isolated from other nations, you can't trade with other nations.
Right.
Like your whole economic thing just kind of falls apart.
Right.
So
So the 2 cities, is it Tamar and Kadesh Barna? What were the 2 cities?
it's in modern day Jordan. I know that's where the kingdom was.
Does that Bible have a modern day?
I don't think so. Because the mountain range of Seir is in the area of Jordan now. Because I was like, where is this? So.
But the name change I've looked at a lot of them, did change names, and even look at modern day, go back to modern where different rulers came in or people came in and they changed even the modern day. Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, there's others in South America, I see where the names have been changed recently within the last like 70 years. Some of the bigger cities that were changed within 70, 75 years too, so that's not uncommon.
Yeah. All right, so there's going to be desolation, there's going to be bloodshed, it's going to be forever because eventually Edom is going to fall, as I said. Either it's going to be Alexander that comes in, the Greeks come in, or it is the Persians. I don't remember offhand which one takes out the Edomites. So, what does Edom mean when it says these 2 nations and countries will be ours? This is at verse 10 we're looking at. It shall be mine, is how the translation goes.
Looking at Israel and Judah.
Mm-hmm. Remember, this is after the northern kingdom has fallen, capital being Samaria. That was wiped out during the time of Isaiah. And now you have the southern kingdom has fallen. The Babylonians have taken it, and Jerusalem has fallen. And so the Edomites are looking at this and they come up with this, the two nations idea. What do they mean by that? They're going to be ours. I think it's pretty self-explanatory what they're going to do. Yeah. They don't think of, let us help the Israelites that are left behind after the exile. What can we take? What piece of land can we have that's ours? I mean, there's no one else there. Let's make it ours. That's their mentality. It's me, more kind of thing. And that is what is going to upset the Lord, and he's going to do what he is going to do. But we see this in modern times as well. When a country it falls, other countries swoop in and they try to take from that country.
The United States is unique that when we go to war with someone and we win, then we give the land back and we provide them with the freedom that we love.
And give financial support to them. Even more important to them is modern day Germany, Japan. Yes, help them rebuild tremendously.
All right, let's not go.
And this is to do with ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil takes a big part in that one.
All right. Oop. Anything else we want to say how the Edomites are plotting to divide up the land that is now open because the Babylonians have wiped out the Israelites? All right, so let's add on to that, and it says, how does the text portray Edom's attitude towards God's presence? Although the Lord was there. And in mine I have underlined was. Yeah, the Edomites see everything that happens, and they watch the temple be destroyed, and they think, God isn't there anymore. Now's the time. We can go get the land. Because they think that God only dwells in that temple. And as soon as that temple falls and is gone, God isn't there anymore to protect the people. Let's go get the land. And they fail to realize that God doesn't just dwell in his temple. He dwells where his people are. Because remember, the Israelites are under the same fear. They've been carried off into exile. They're as far away from Jerusalem and away from the temple as can be. And they think that God is going to forget about them, that they're no longer going to be his people. And so remember, when Ezekiel is sent to the people, one of the first things he says to the people, I am still your God. Or I'm paraphrasing, but it was something along that line. And so the Edomites have this attitude of, God isn't there. The land is perfect for the taking. Let's go take it. Let's go expand our empire, and instead of helping the Israelites. Anything else we want to say about that attitude?
What if you're taking it to help the people?
Okay.
Yeah, I figured that was the case.
I'm waiting like for an exam or.
Well,
Be over it.
you can take over something to try to help people.
Because you think you know better than.
Yeah, you think you know better. But I can see a country saying, look at this, it was given to us. I mean, even in Native American culture, that's how they hunt. The animal is given to you. If it presents itself, then it was given to you. But this country is saying, these people, this was given to us. And then they said, besides, remember, these used to be the chosen. And now God isn't with them anymore, so why not? I can definitely see him thinking all that.
Yeah,
It was very rare that they decided, yeah, we'll go in, help you build, and we get out. Normally, they want the land, the minerals, the manpower. It wasn't, yeah, we're gonna help you.
Everyone was imperialist.
Yeah, right.
well, when Ron puts it the way they did, I'm like, I understand their thinking. I'm like, the land is, it's empty. God isn't there. Like, these are his chosen people. They're not, their God is completely gone. Like, why not take the land? It's a perfect opportunity.
But God, the other thing before, God knows their heart, and he's like upset with it, so.
Mm-hmm.
He's already upset with them because they never went to help them. They were getting taken over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not very friendly.
We didn't cover this before in Ezekiel, did we?
We've talked about Edom before. It was in one of the little things within all the judgments.
Because I'm wondering
Hey, it means we're learning something. Yeah.
I remember they go around.
Yeah, when we were going through all of those different judgments, and it was like the nation of this, it was lumped in there with all of those different nations that we put
Oh, it
together.
was at the end of it, and they said, don't worry, we're not gonna spend a lot of time because we're gonna get it again.
Yeah. So we've seen Edom before, but now he's going into a lot more detail with what they've been doing and what they have done and what is going to happen to them. So we're going to look at one more question here. We're going to look at question number 8. What does God mean by, I have heard all the reviling things you said?
He knows, Dan said it, he knows their heart.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the reviling things? What are some of the evil things that they have been uttering against the God of Israel? I'm looking. Yeah, that's the key word. Blaspheme. What else were they doing? I would say the reviling things they're saying is this idea they have that God isn't there anymore. Temple's been destroyed. Like all the things that are going on in the mountains too, that we remember from when we touched on Ezekiel. Or we touched on Edom in Ezekiel. Sorry, let me get that right. And so, yeah, we see, I'm looking at my verses here. Verse 11 is where he picks up. It says, this is Ezekiel, God speaking through Ezekiel. It says, I have heard all the reviling that you uttered against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate. They are given to us to devour. And so they've been speaking against the God of Israel. What else have they been doing?
Well, in taunting and vanquished people, God himself becomes the object of insult.
Mm-hmm.
And he hears that.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Edomites have been taunting the Israelites, probably pointing in their face, being like, look, your city's been destroyed. Where is your God now?
Right, God has abandoned you.
Mm-hmm.
Insulting God.
Yeah. And whenever you do that in the Old Testament, it never ends up very good.
For the insulter, correct.
Yeah.
Person insulting God, it never, ever ends good for them. That's a good point,
Yeah.
exclamation point. It never ends good for you if you insulted God, never, ever.
Yeah, so don't, yeah. All right. So we're going to wrap it up this morning because we got the caring elder is in the library. So, but we're going to continue this handout next week, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to forge ahead and get the next chapter out to you later in the week, and we'll continue to go through that. So, but any questions before we wrap up real quick this morning? We'll go into more detail next week because we'll have the time. Maybe we'll go back a little bit and just kind of review a little bit and go into a little bit more detail. So, but we're going to close with a word of prayer. Gracious and Heavenly Father, thank you for this chance, Lord, to be together as brothers in Christ, to study your prophet Ezekiel. Lord, I ask that you be with these men this week, that you would bless them, that you would fill them with your Spirit. And Lord, help us to remember in this season of Epiphany that you have revealed yourself through your Son, Jesus, as we learn about his baptism this weekend, how you have taken water and word and you bring it together and you make us your sons in your Son. I ask this and I pray this in your Son's name, Jesus. Amen. All right. So I will see you gentlemen next Saturday morning at 9 a.m.
Unless we have some more work.